Hello, greetings. Just when I started, the prayers are going on. So during morning, sorry about the background sound. I'm going to, see in this Sunni Hadith, Sahih Bukhari, I'm going to show you something dreadful about Prophet Muhammad and his breaking oaths. When he, in this Sunni Hadith, it says that when he himself says that breaking oaths, promises, is a sign of hypocrisy. The reason why I went back into the Sunni Hadiths and sources, it was very painful for me, but I had to find out again, refreshing my memory. And this is what I found in the Book of Faith. After Revelations in Sahih Bukhari, you can get it online, and it's true. These things have not been changed by someone, the enemy of Islam. Now, there are a lot of things happening in the world which I cannot be held responsible. Anyhow, I'm looking at this, trying to find out the truth about my religion, and it was I had to go back to the Sunni Hadith because I wanted to see if there's more things I can find. My Shia thing, Hadiths and all, really I cannot rely on them because they come from the Prophet's family and biased from one side, right? So I thought, again, if I can do some thorough research, read between the lines, find something like I did now from the Sunni sources, these Sahabas, companions and wives wanted to tell us something. When I read about something that Shias are hiding about Saffiya, or they not hiding, but because it came from the Sunni sources or something, they don't believe in such lies against the Prophet. They feel everyone has been against the Prophet except the believers, and the believers are very few. So there, after Prophet Muhammad, the progeny has been upholding this religion, and Imam Hussein tried to save this religion from these hypocrites and all. Tables have turned now. I can see through. The promise breaking thing, Abu Bakr says, he's called Abu Bakra here, that I was, about Abu Bakr, it is said in Sahih Bukhari that he was such an honest man and he would never break oaths until there was this ayat in the Quran. Islam introduced the cancelling of the oaths and promises. So if I can show you, I'm on this, trying to find out now one hadith I mentioned, which says about Imam Ali being the qatil, and so it's here somewhere. I'm trying to find it. Okay, I will do that later, finding Imam Ali's the hadith on Imam Ali. Excuse me. So Abu Bakr tells this man that, what are you doing? You're going towards a man who's a murderer or something. So both sides, Muslims going to hell. And the religious scholars say, the Sunni religious scholars, not to read their history and all this. So please bear with me. I'm in such a shock and all, and against all odds doing this, because here too I've created some enemies and things scaring me, very scary when I went out. Looking back at what happened, finding a Hindu astrologer. So, had a bad dream, just woke up from this really terrible dream. So, volume 1, book 2, number 31, narrated by Abdullah. When the following verse was revealed, it is those who believe and confuse not their belief with wrong, worshipping others besides Allah. Verse 83, chapter 6 of the Quran. The companions of Allah's apostle asked, who is amongst us who had not done injustice wrong? Allah revealed, no doubt, joining others in worship with Allah is a great injustice. Wrong indeed. Surah 31, verse 13. References. So not this one. Narrated by Abu Huraira. Volume 1, book 2, number 32. This from Sahih Bukhari. The Prophet said the signs of a hypocrite are 3. 1. Whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. 2. Whenever he promises, he always breaks it, in brackets, his promise. 3. If you trust him, he proves to be dishonest. If you keep something as a trust with him, he will not return it. This number 2, whenever he promises, he always breaks his promise. So you can see, the Prophet said, okay, so you can see in the Quran, Surah Tahrim, ayat, how Prophet Muhammad broke his promise. Allah told him that you can break this promise you made to the wives. So his words to himself. Let's see, in this, narrated by Abdullah bin Amr, the Prophet said, whoever has the following 4 characteristics will be a pure hypocrite. And whoever has one of the following 4 characteristics will have one characteristic of hypocrisy, unless and until he gives it up. Number 1, whenever he is entrusted, he betrays. Number 2, whenever he speaks, he tells a lie. Number 3, whenever he makes a covenant, he proves treacherous. Covenants. So this is important. And there's number 4, whenever he quarrels, he behaves in a very imprudent, evil, and insulting manner. Let's see, this one, sincere, hoping to attain. Prophet said the person who participates. So looking for that hadith, the Prophet said religion is very easy over person who observes. When the Prophet came to Medina. Hello, yeah, so I'm just sharing these hadiths from Sahih Bukhari, Volume 1, Book 2, number 13. Allah's Apostle said, by him in whose hands my life is, none of you will have faith till he loves me more than his father and his children. Cult. Narrated by Anas. The Prophet said, none of you will have faith till he loves me more than his father, his children, and all mankind. All mankind. Oh my goodness. And what is faith and all this? So what is Islam? It's written here. Allah's Apostle said, best property with sheep and Allah. Sorry, the Prophet said, whoever possesses Allah's apostle was asked, what is the best deed? He replied, to believe in Allah and His apostle. Sorry. No, I didn't complete this. What's that about Abu Bakr? Abu Dhar. Narrated by Al-Ahnaf bin Qais. While I was going to help this man, Ali ibn Abu Talib, in brackets, close bracket, Abu Bakr met me and asked, where are you going? I replied, I'm going to help that person. He said, go back. Excuse me. He said, go back, for I've heard Allah's apostle saying, when two Muslims meet each other with their swords, both the murderer as well as the murdered will go to the hellfire. I said, oh Allah's apostle, it is all right for the murderer, but what about the murdered one? Allah's apostle replied, he surely had the intention to kill his companion. So the battle of Jamal, Imam Ali and Aisha fighting two Muslims, whether it was a mistake or whatever it was. While I was going to help this man, Ali ibn Abu Talib, Abu Bakr met me and asked, where are you going? I replied, I'm going to help that person. He said, go back, for I've heard Allah's apostle saying, when two Muslims meet each other with their swords, both the murderer as well as the murdered will go to the hellfire. This means Imam Ali is going to the hellfire. This means that Aisha is going to the hellfire. I said, oh Allah's apostle, it is all right for the murderer, but what about the murdered one? Allah's apostle replied, he surely had the intention to kill his companion. So you see, the religious scholars, the Muslims, they say not to read all this, and this is really very sad, very, very sad. I have to help out, even with due respect to His Highness Aga Khan and the Ismailis. They are told not to read these hadiths and only believe in His Highness Aga Khan. Now, because of my life circumstances and how what I was doing, the wrong things because of the influence of something on me and the environment and the wicked people, maybe I developed this deep-seated insecurity that I'm bad and all this. So bad was coming out of me, no matter how much I tried to be honest and not lie and tell the truth and all this and be a sincere believer, Muslim in Islam, but I failed a lot. So that's how I started to think about Yazid and all the opposite, the enemy of Allah in Islam, as they are called. So what happens is the person, in this thing of insecurity, like for example, if you can see maybe even in Hindus, some of the Hindus, dishonesty and all. Although, Narayan, such a Lakshmi Devi, providence. You know what providence is? God who cares and reaches out. All the blessings were taken away from us. And then Allama Rashid Turabi mentioning that there's so many blessings of Rasulullah on us. So many blessings. I started to question, where are they? So my life's realities and experiences told me to consider. I started to go deeply and consider the opposite, Umayyads, opposite enemy of Imam Hussein, Yazid and all. So there's a thing of like this wickedness. uh, of how Prophet Muhammad, let me see if I can say this properly. And where's that Abu Bakr's, what is the other hadith I was looking for? Yeah, Abu Bakr never used to break promises until, it in the Quran verses, like now the Muslims, Mu'mineen, believers were asked to rescind their promises, oaths. This is really, really terrible. So maybe the other side was telling us something for the Shias. This is for the Shias. And I really didn't find any proof of Prophet Muhammad's prophethood, truthfulness, veracity. So it gets worse and worse, actually. So you see this breaking of oaths and all. I've shown you from the Sunni hadiths. Now, the Prophet Muhammad said it is great hypocrisy, right, or hypocrisy, to break oaths. And now you can see rescinding of oaths in the Quran. You can now rescind, cancel oaths. So something better. They say that something better, if it comes up. So there was a hadith of Abu Bakr rescinding oaths now. Just searching, yeah. Abu Bakr. First, I'll show you this hadith about Abu Bakr. Oh, hello, yeah, here. This is in Sahih Bukhari, book 78, Oaths and Vows, volume 8, book 78, number 618. Narrated Aisha, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq had never broken his oaths till Allah revealed the expiation for the oaths. Then he said, if I take an oath to do something and later on I find something else better than the first one, then I do what is better and make expiation for my oath. So here it is. Narrated Aisha, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq had never broken his oaths. Ta-da! Till Allah revealed the expiation for the oaths. Then he said, if I take an oath to do something and later on I find something else better than the first one, then I do what is better and make expiation for my oath. So this was really important. Volume 8, book 78, number 618. Translation of Sahih Bukhari, book 78. And this is, can't see it properly. iium.edu.my website address. Now you get this. I find something else better than the first one. Then I do what is better and make expiation for my oath. Expiation is like, let's see, rescinding. Expiation is like giving something, finding better. The act of making amends or reparation for guilt or wrongdoing, atonement. It's an atonement. So he definitely has to atone for his breaking of the past oath. And this is considered very normal in Islam and a very good thing to do. Because here I think I have one against the Shias, multilingual, in Surah Azab, when Prophet Muhammad breaks this promise of giving Zaid his name and all, and making him his adopted son, like he gets inheritance according to the pagan Arab customs. The adopted son gets inheritance and all. He's like his own son. But then God told him to stop this, and it was an unintentional mistake he made, we are told, in the Shia Hadith too. No, in the surah, in the verse of Surah Azab. Oops, I have to go to multilingual Quran. Sorry, so you see these kind of things. I think I have one because multilingual, because the Shias, okay, how have I won against the Shias? Right, in Surah Azab. I'll show you how I have won. Okay, so what I'll do is, you can see my previous videos, how I have won against my Shias. First of all, we are told here, Prophet Muhammad made an unintentional mistake. His infallibility is now in question. And in Surah Azab now, unintentional mistakes made, he tells Zaid in Surah verse 37, right? Fear Allah, he tells Zaid. And look at the wordings here, oh my God, of the commentary, in the commentary section. Zaid, see, Zainab the highborn could not reconcile herself with Zaid. She's the one who couldn't reconcile herself with Zaid. What are we told in Surah Azab verse 37? Prophet Muhammad told Zaid to keep his wife. Yes, and fear Allah. He himself hid in his soul something that Allah was to reveal, which I couldn't explain properly in my earlier video, and I made some mistakes, so please overlook that. So this it's very, very shocking for me. Zainab the highborn could not reconcile herself with Zaid. Both were good believers and both loved the Holy Prophet, but there was mutual incompatibility, and this proved to be the cause of separation between them. Zaid wished to divorce her. Zaid wished to divorce her. This is the now Zaid was cornered to divorce her. Zainab herself could not reconcile. The Holy Prophet tried his best to prevent separation between them. These were great believers, and both loved the Holy Prophet more than they loved their, perhaps, in that Sunni Hadith. Not perhaps, they have to. I've won in Surah Azab against my Shias. I just can't find the words. An adopted son is not the real son and all. Wait a minute. Here Imam Muhammad bin al-Baqir, Ali al-Baqir, Abdullah bin Josh, both of them, according to Imam Muhammad bin Ali al-Baqir, wanted to exercise their freedom of choice in this matter. Then this verse was revealed. We must not put our own wisdom in competition with Allah's wisdom. We must accept it loyally and do the best we can to carry it out. Yeah, Zainab tried her best. Zainab the highborn could not reconcile And what other words they will put for this prophet? He tried his best and this. Polygamy, al-bukra, divorce of the... Sorry, excuse me, I'm getting funny. Behold, thou didst say to one who had received the grace of Allah and thy favor. Sorry, I have to clear my throat every now and then. Sorry, excuse me. Retain in wedlock thy wife and fear Allah. What a thing, right? Retain thy wife. Because we are told here in the commentary section how Shias have put it to defend this Prophet Muhammad. Okay, if you feel this is not like I haven't won here, oh, you believe that, oh yeah, full of mercy, oh yes. And where's that one? 50. It is not lawful for thee to marry more women after this, nor to change them for other wives. Not to change, yeah, even though their beauty attract thee. So we are told in Allah Majlisi's Hayatul Qulub that Prophet Muhammad liked two things, three things maybe, can't remember, but two things I remember: perfume and women. Life of Prophet Muhammad in Hayatul Qulub, volume 1, I think. See? What? Verse 52. It is not lawful for thee to marry women after this, nor to change them for other wives, even though their beauty attract thee, except any thy right hand should possess, as handmaid. But you can marry what your right hands possess, beautiful, attractive women. And Allah doth watch over all things. You see? Now we come to and where's that thing? That verse 5. Huh? Assert their relationship to the fathers. Yeah. And there is no blame on you concerning that in which you made a mistake, but concerning that which your hearts do purposely, blame may rest on you. Verse 5 of Surah Azab. Zaid. In the market of Akka, Zaid bin Harith, this is a commentary. I'm reading Shia sources too. This is in Shia source. In the market of Akka, Zaid bin Harith was being sold as a slave. The Holy Prophet purchased him and adopted him as his son. The father of Zaid was a man of means. Okay, I'll just obtain. The Prophet at once set him free and gave him permission to go with his father, but Zaid decided to remain with the Holy Prophet. The Holy Prophet asked the people to bear witness that from that day Zaid was his son and he was his father. Then this verse was revealed that there is no blame on you. There is no blame on you if you make a mistake therein. Which counts is the intention of your hearts. And Yusuf Ali and all that different, yeah? You made a mistake. Another one is that Muhammad is not the father of any of you. Ahead we go to the verse in Surah Azab. Muhammad, I have to find that. But, okay, Muhammad is not the father. 37. Then the breaking of oath in Surah Tahrim also. Sleeping with Maria the Coptic. I believe more on the hadith of this. Whether there's one chain of narration is weak, I'm looking at what this Prophet has done. Not through his family members, but what, even if one hadith has come, because, he was killing people, forcing them to accept Islam. and very, very made Islam quite attractive to them at that time. Like give charity, generosity, this, that. So where is it? It's, so, and when you, there is no harm. There's no harm in the Prophet doing that which Allah has ordained for him. Why don't you do it from the very beginning? So remember Surah Muzammil. The Quran was already revealed to him. Shia hadiths that he knew from the very beginning he was a prophet. But later on he was asked to declare which Allah has ordained for him, such has been the course of Allah with respect to those who have gone before. And the command of Allah is a decree that is made absolute. Those who deliver the message of Allah and fear Him and do not fear anyone but Allah. Really? Verse 37 of the same surah. You feared the people. That part. Those who deliver this is verse 39. Those who deliver the messages of Allah and fear Him and do not fear anyone but Allah. And Allah is sufficient. This is not important. Muhammad is not the father of any of your men. Verse 40. Muhammad is not the father of any of your men, but he is the messenger of Allah. What were we told? In the commentary. He made people a witness. Who were those people? He made a witness. Changing oaths again. You see, these people, they saw him doing these kind of things. How can you believe in someone who, even in the Sunni hadiths we find Prophet Muhammad himself says that it's a sign of hypocrisy, sure hypocrisy, true hypocrisy, that those who break promises. But no, when he breaks a promise, you can whatever the word is used in all this, do things like that. Now we're going to, I can take you to Surah Tahrim where he broke, Surah Tahrim. But let me take you now to this Saffiya. We cry for Sakina, right? That I wonder why Yazid was so cruel. Like, we have covert narcissists, tyrants, cruelty, this, that. Saffiya Bint Huyayy. Oh, there's a website here, you'll go crazy if you read about that. How Prophet Muhammad really, and what the Muslim reasoning, Look at this. Saffiya Bint Huyayy married the Prophet, okay, and she was 17 years old. As in the case of Jawariya bint Harith, this marriage occurred after one of the Muslims' decisive battles. In this case, the Battle of Khaybar. After the Battle of Khaybar, in which the Muslims defeated the Jews, 2 women were brought before the Prophet Muhammad by Bilal, the black muazzin of Medina, whose beautiful, piercing voice constantly called the Muslim rider, until he was present at the surrender of Jerusalem to the Khalifa Umar in 1788. They had passed, and those who had been killed. And one of the two women was shrieking and screaming. See how they, from there here, and then in the end it is one of the 2 women was shrieking and screaming and rubbing dust in her hair, while the other was mute with shock. And so we are told Saffiya, the silent one, mute with shock. Are you mute? The silent one was Saffiya, the daughter of Huyayy ibn Akhtab, the chief of Banu Nadir, who had all this Medina, plotting to kill the messenger, expel the Muslims, and dropping a stone on his head as he sat talking with their leaders. Oh my God. The noisy one was Saffiya's cousin, Saffiya could trace her lineage directly back to Harun, the brother of the Prophet Moses. The Prophet Muhammad asked someone to look after the woman who was screaming and then took off his cloak and placed it over the shoulders of Saffiya, whose husband had been killed in the battle. It was a gesture of pity. Oh my God. But from that moment she was to be honored and given great respect in the Muslim community. Then the Prophet turned to Bilal and said, Bilal, Allah has plucked mercy from your, oh God. And severe criticized the behavior of the other. Like Habiba, Saffiya was the daughter of a great chief. The only person, you really want to cry here. The only person who could save her from becoming a slave after having enjoyed such a high position was the Prophet. Although her father had planned to assassinate Muhammad after the Battle of Uhud and had conspired with the Banu Qurayza to exterminate all the Muslims during the Battle of Al-Khandaq, it was the characteristics and he did not bear any grudges. Prophet Muhammad. For those who did wrong, he felt pity rather than anger. And for those, oh God, I really don't know. And the Prophet invited Saffiya to embrace Islam, and she did. And having given what? Oh my God, does she have a choice? She doesn't have a choice, this poor lady. Her freedom, then he married her. Some people may have wondered how it was that Saffiya could accept Islam and marry the Prophet when her father had been his bitter enemy and when bloody battles had taken place between the Jews and the Muslims. The answer may be found in what she has related of her early life as the daughter of the chief of the Banu Nadir. You got the chief, Prophet Muhammad. She said, I was my father's favorite. 17 years old. I was my father's favorite and also a favorite with my uncle Yasser. Remember, not Uncle Abbas, not Prophet Muhammad's, but about a cousin, Abbas ibn Ali and Sukaina. Remember Hussein and Sakina in Karbala. Who is the favorite? Saffiya. Oh, this would make you cry. She said I was my father's favorite and also a favorite with my uncle Yasser. They could never see me with one of their children without picking me up. What were we told? Sakina was the piece of the house of Hussein. Hazrat Abbas used to love her so much also. When the messenger came to Medina, my father and my uncle went to see him. It was very early in the morning and between dawn and sunrise. They did not return until the sun was setting. They came back worn out and depressed, walking with slow, heavy steps. I smiled to them. Remember the smile of Sakina towards her father. I smiled to them as I always did. But neither of them took any notice of me this time because they were so miserable. Masaib has started, she asked. I heard Abu Yasir ask my father, is it him? Yes, it is. Can you recognize him? Can you verify it? Yes, I can recognize him. Oh, so now they're saying they can recognize. What do you feel towards him? They can recognize he is that one. Hazrat Musa's, Oh, enmity, enmity as long as I live. These Jews, we are told, recognize Prophet Muhammad. But enmity, enmity. So here I've read all this from here. Islamstory.com. Saffiya Bint Huyayy. Islamstory.com. References may be given here in the end from where they got the story about Saffiya. Saffiya was, okay, I can't see any references. So, no, I don't think, sorry if I've missed them. I haven't gone. There's, Islam Story is a site specialized in Islamic history. Excuse me. And it is under the supervision of Professor Dr. Raghib al-Sargani. Sargani, Jesus. Okay, or Sarjani. Indonesian Russia cover article. Okay, so all rights reserved to Islam Story website. Sorry if I'm, I had to take the story. This is the only website that has given me Saffiya's story like this. I was, so then when Yazid, when we come to Karbala, and then when they go to Sham, Saffiya was Huwayy's daughter. She had a pure heart and had always wanted to worship her Creator and Lord, and the one who had sent Moses, to whom she was related, and Jesus, and finally Muhammad had to marry her. May Allah be pleased with all of them. Thus, as soon as the opportunity arose, not only to follow the last prophet, but she went, but also to be married to him, she took it. Although Saffiya lost her. Saffiya had in Muhammad the most kind and considerate husband. Now the other wives are giving her problems. She was not always favorably accepted. Mu'minins. Especially, she was not favorably accepted by some of his other wives, especially when she had first joined the Prophet's household. I feel like crying. It is related by Anas that on one occasion the Prophet found Saffiya weeping. Maybe she was weeping that she marrying this Prophet. But no, they put it on the wives. That, the wives were not favorable to her and were annoying her and calling her names. Like when he asked her what the matter was, she replied that she heard Hafsa. Hafsa who? Hafsa bint Umar al-Khattab had disparagingly described her as the daughter of a Jew. Do you see some conspiracy going on? Prophet Muhammad doing. Okay, I have to go through this in depth, deep analysis, reading between the lines. Oh my God. Matam for Saffiya. Losing her father, her husband, her brother. Brother also. So you can, again, oh God, I had to say brother now. So she lost her husband, her father in this battle of Khaybar. Yeah, maybe a brother to save her from becoming slave after having. So Prophet married her, yeah. Saffiya bint Huyayy. Okay, but I think the father and the husband is enough for now. You can read if you. This is my. See, bear with me, please. I keep forgetting so quickly. If it were the brother, maybe the uncle also, Yasir, Abbas. So, the wives were not. That's why she used to weep a lot. That one day Prophet Muhammad found her weeping. Don't let me put words in this story, but I have to. You see? And this guy breaks oaths. This prophet, excuse me. So before I get, I cannot handle my, excuse me please. I'll continue later.